Hi everyone, this is a mobility and core flow. So we will focus on mobilizing the body and activating the core. For the most part, it is a continuous flow. However, as we get towards the end, we will hold some static stretches. I love movement like this on days when maybe I just want to take it easy, maybe I'm feeling a little sore, and I just want to move my body a little bit in a way that feels good. The core work will kind of be woven throughout the flow. So yes, there may be moments where you start to feel a little uncomfortable, you're building that burn in your abdominals, but right on the other side of that, we'll go back to the feel-good stuff. If you love this video, I have another similar one available on Patreon. You can become a Patreon member to gain access to additional workout classes at patreon.com/Nicole Pierce. Now let's jump right in. I want us to start in a tabletop position today, so hands stacked under shoulders, and with the lower body, I want your feet together and your knees maybe a little wider than normal for a tabletop. We're gonna start with just a cat-cow. On an inhale, gaze shifts up, tailbone reaches up. And on an exhale, you're gonna push the mat away, round your spine up towards the ceiling, growing broad across your back. Keep moving like that, linking it with your breath. Inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, flex the spine. 2 more. Last time here. And on the exhale, I want you to hold that spinal flexion. So round your spine up to the ceiling and hold. Now we're going to hold this position and just breathe deeply. We're focusing on expanding through the mid-back, growing broad across the back of our rib cage, expanding east to west, really pushing the mat away. A couple more breaths here. Last time. And from here, let's stay in tabletop, but just come through neutral spine, so reach the top of your head long. We're going to start to rock the hips back and forward, feeling a nice opening through the back of the pelvis as you shift back. Now, as you shift back, I don't want your tailbone to tuck under, so think about maintaining a fairly neutral spine. Couple more here. Last time. Bring it forward, and now I want you to come upright to a kneeling position. We still have knees wide, feet apart, and I want you to reach your arms overhead, getting tall and big, gentle squeeze through the glutes. We're going to come into a hip hinge. As your hips hinge back, your arms sweep back like an airplane, palms up towards the ceiling. Bring the hips forward, gentle squeeze of the glutes. Arms reach up, up, up without flaring through the ribs. Keep that going. Hinge back and forward. Inhale as you grow tall, take up space. Exhale, hinge it back. One more, we're gonna hold the hinge this time. Hinge it and hold. Now, you're reaching the crown of your head long, so make sure that you're not letting it hang. We're open across the collarbones, and I want you to start rotating your arm bones. So you're flipping the palms up towards the ceiling and then down towards the mat. We're not losing the connection to our abdominals. You're not flaring out through the rib cage. Spiraling, twisting, mobilizing through that shoulder joint. So when you spiral the hands up towards the ceiling, make sure you're not rounding your shoulders forward and dumping them down towards the floor. 2 more. Now I want you to hold with your palms facing down towards the floor and just start to sweep your arms up overhead and back. We're almost out of this hinged position. 2 more. Last time. Sweep it back, and now we're going to come to a seated mermaid position. So I want you to start with your left foot in front and your right foot in back. mirroring me. From here, I want you to reach your arms out to the sides. We're going to come into a little combo. You're going to start by tilting over to the left. Your left hand is going to catch you on the mat. We're then going to rotate down towards the mat. Take your right hand, sweep it towards the floor as you rotate, staying long through the spine. Open it back up, and then on an exhale, you're going to use your right side obliques to bring your torso upright. So keep that going. We inhale, catch. Exhale, rotate. Inhale to open up. Exhale back to seated. Now that rotation is coming from your spine. It's not initiated with your shoulder. So on an exhale, start by twisting, rotate through the rib cage, then the arm sweeps down. Now this time down, we are going to hold the rotation. So I want you to tilt left hand plants. Rotate, right hand now comes down to meet left. In this twisted position, we're going to shift the focus to our back right hip. We're going to find some internal rotation. So I want you to keep that back right knee down on the mat. You're just going to lift the right foot up, internally rotating through the thigh bone, and lower it back down. Now, yes, the focus is on that back right hip, but I want you to stay active through the upper body. You're pushing the mat away. You're not sinking into your shoulders. Exhale, internally rotate, pick the foot up and down. Now, this might be a very tiny movement. It does not need to be huge. You're working with within your own hip joint mobility here and range of motion. Four more here, and then we are going to lift that back leg off of the mat. Your shin will be parallel to the mat, so we won't be internally rotated anymore. One more time. Now rest the foot on the mat, keeping that shin parallel. I want you to reach your back right knee so far back behind you that the leg lifts up to a hover. Now you're going to swing the knee forward, hip flexion, and then you're going to swing the shape back, opening up across that back right hip, hip extension. Keep that going. Swing it forward and back. So this is tough. Forward and back. Might feel a little sticky here. Mobilizing through the hip joint, open and close it off. Four more. Last two. Last time. And then the next time you swing that shape back, I want you to rest the leg down on the mat. From here, I want you to come down onto your forearms. I want you to straighten out your right leg, and you might need to take this left knee and just slide it down a bit. Your right arm is going to reach forward, and that right leg is going to hover off of the mat. Now, you are going to twist open through the chest, and as you do, that right leg is going to swing forward, and then you're going to reverse it. As you spiral your chest towards the mat, that right leg sweeps back behind you. So we're getting this nice opening through the chest, spiraling through the spine. Don't sink into that bottom left shoulder though. So you're thinking of pushing the mat away. You have two more. Last time. And now I want you to come through center and plant that right foot on the mat. We're going to come into a side plank. So you're going to take that bottom left knee and just kick it back a little bit more. We're going to pick our hips up, keep your top right hip down on the mat. Top arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Make sure that your hips are stacked, one right on top of the other. We have a theme here of rotation. We're going to add it back in. On an exhale, I want you to take these right fingertips down towards the mat. Now, what I want you focusing on this rotation is keeping your hips stacked. So the rotation does not occur through the pelvis. It's really mid-spine and up. So upper half of your torso twists and then open. So it doesn't have to be huge. 2 more, and then we have a hold. Final rotation down to the mat. Open up, hold the supported side plank. Now I want you to reach that right leg so long that it hovers. Hold and breathe. You're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hips come down, and let's find a counter stretch. So you're going to take that left arm and just sweep it up and over. Take a couple deep breaths. Think of expanding through the side body. And now we're going to do that whole thing on the other side. So let's come back to our mermaid position. This time your right foot is going to be in front and your left leg is going to be behind you. So knees bent at opposing angles just like that. We're going to reach our arms out to the side and we're going to come into that combo. So you're going to start to tilt over to the right. Your right hand lands on the mat. We're going to rotate down on an exhale. Left hand sweeps towards that front edge of your mat. Inhale, open back up. Exhale, use the left side obliques to bring yourself up to seated again. So try linking it with your breath. You inhale to tilt over. Exhale, rotate, twist through the rib cage. Inhale, grow tall through the spine. Exhale, engage the obliques, bring yourself up to seated. When you land on that right hand, don't sink into the shoulder. So you land, but you're still thinking, press the mat away, length through the neck. Your ear should not be resting on it. Now this time down, we're going to hold you, tilt to the side, your right hand plants. You exhale as you spiral, other hand meets the mat, and we are going to stay here. Now you're brought across the collarbones. We're not sinking into those shoulders. We're going to find internal rotation through that back left leg. So keeping your left knee on the mat, I want you to lift your left foot up and place it down. Normal to feel differences between the sides. And again, don't force a big range of motion, all right? You'll notice if you're going too big, if you're compensating by sinking into your rib cage or your shoulders or other parts of the body. So you want to really maintain the position. The only thing that's moving is that shin windshield wipering up and down. Coming up, we will lift that whole back left leg off the mat. We'll keep it parallel so you will not be internally rotated. 2 more here. Last time. Lower the foot on the mat. Now I want you to reach that back left knee so far back behind you that it lifts off the mat. Think long, not high. And we're going to start to swing the shape forward and then swing the shape back. Swing might be the wrong word because it is very controlled. Maybe hinge is a better one. Finding hip flexion and extension. I just got to scoot away from my couch a little bit. Now, yes, it's that left leg that's moving, but what is the rest of our body doing to support this movement? Ground down through those fingertips. Stay tall and open through your chest and spine. Four more. Last time here. Forward, swing it back, lower that left leg onto the mat. I want you to come down to your forearms, straighten your left leg, and scoot the right knee back a little bit. Now, left arm, left leg are going to reach long and lift to a hover. As you spiral open through the chest, I want you to swing that left leg forward And as you spiral your chest down to the mat, you're going to sweep that left leg back, creating this big twist through the spine. I love this one. It feels so good. It's like wringing out your whole body like a wet washcloth. Don't collapse into that bottom right shoulder. We have that modified side plank work coming up next. Give me 2 more here. Last time, open, rotate closed, and then I want you to come through center. Now plant your left foot down on the mat, kick your right knee back a little bit, and you can adjust the rotation of your bottom right form. I have my fingertips pointing forward. Reaching that top left arm up towards the ceiling, lift your hips coming into your side plank. First step, make sure your hips are stacked. We tend to roll open, so you might need to take this top left hip and just pull it forward a smidge. We're gonna find, again, that rotation. It is a theme here. As you exhale, bring the top left fingertips down towards the mat and open back up. Exhale, rotate down. Now the rotation is not so big that our hips change position, so we're staying still and stable through the pelvis. Without actually moving that bottom right elbow, I want you to think of pulling it in a little closer to your feet so that we remain really active through this area of the back, kind of under our armpits. 2 more. And now I want you to hold it open. You are going to reach that top left leg so long that it lifts up. You're in this hovering position. You're stabilizing through your bottom right side glutes. Hold and breathe. You're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hips, bend the knees. Let's find that counter stretch. You can tent your left fingertips, right arm sweeps up and over. Take a few breaths here. Think of expanding through the rib cage on that right side with every inhale. One more deep breath. And now we are going to come into a seated position. Your knees are going to be bent and you're going to plant your feet flat on the mat. So we're going to come into a half roll back, which will gradually transition us down all the way onto our mats. So you want to find a neutral pelvis. Make sure you're not tucked under to start. Sit up nice and tall, reach your arms forward. Inhale to prepare. Now on an exhale, you're going to start to roll your pelvis away from your thighs, shortening the distance between your bottom ribs and those hip bones until you come to balance just behind your sits bones. You're still open across the chest. Now inhale here. And on an exhale, you're going to move the whole shape forward, reaching your hands to the wall in front of you, rounding over those thighs. On an inhale, I want you to stack the spine all the way up tall to the starting position. So exhale, roll the pelvis away from your thighs. Come into this half roll back position. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, whole shape moves forward, round over your thighs. Reach those arms staying parallel to the floor. Inhale to stack the spine back up tall. Again, exhale, start to roll the pelvis back. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, whole shape moves forward, round through your spine. Reach, reach, reach. And then stack the spine all the way up tall. Exhale, start to roll the pelvis back. We're going to hold this one. So come down into this half roll back position. Hold. You're almost thinking of a J shape of your spine. So kind of scooped through the bottom of your spine, long and tall through the upper spine. Now your feet can be flat, or I like to come to my heels and really dig those heels into the floor. We're going to come into a twist. So your right arm is going to sweep back behind you as you twist open. And then you're going to bring it back to the starting position. Other side. Inhale, sweep it open. Exhale back. Now, if it feels more natural to switch the breath, exhaling open, inhaling closed, I'm okay with that here. I want you to do what helps you maintain the deepest connection to your abdominals. Open, bring it back through center. One more each side. Twist it open. Now come through center, hold. Can you get 1 inch deeper? From here, I want you to lift the arms up and lower them down. They do not need to come all the way overhead. If you're advanced, you can bring the biceps by the ears, only if you have the mobility to do that in your shoulders without flaring out through your ribs though. 3 more. Lift and lower. Last time, lift, lower, hold. Get 1 inch deeper. Your gaze is forward. You're not jamming your chin to your chest. You hold for 4. We're going to roll all the way to the mat in 3, in 2, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll yourself all the way down to the mat. Now, I recommend keeping your knees bent and feet flat on the mat for this one because I want you to stay neutral through the low back. If it feels better for you though, and you can maintain neutral, you could also do this next one with your legs straight. So I want you to find a goalpost position with the arms, or kind of a cactus shape. Palms are up towards the ceiling, elbows bent at 90. Now from here, on an inhale, you're going to start to slide your arms up overhead, but only as high as you can go, keeping the arms touching the floor. When you hit that highest point, just start to slide them back down. So this is a great chest opener right here. Arms slide up. I'm pretty tight through the shoulders, so my arms are not getting straight overhead, and down. Again, only as high as you can go, keeping the elbows, making physical contact with the floor. Now we're going to come into a static hold or a static stretch, but if that does not feel good, you can continue to move fluidly as we are now. If you're up for the hold though, next time you reach those arms up, find your highest point where you feel challenged and just hold and breathe into the shape. Now I want you to check in on your rib cage. If you're so high that your back is peeling off of the mat, then your arms need to lower a little bit, okay? They're only as high as you can go, keeping them on the ground and maintaining a connection to your ribs. Don't let them flare open. Few deep breaths here. Really direct that breath into the front of the shoulders. One more deep breath. Now from here, lower your elbows. You can keep them in this cactus shape if it feels good, or you can bring your arms down to your side. We're going to separate our feet about as wide as the mat. I'm going to keep my arms in goalpost, I think. And I just want you to start by windshield wipe, bring the knees side to side. Whoop, hitting my couch. Just scoot over a little bit. So you've made it through the more challenging part of this flow. From here on out, we're just laying on the ground. We're doing stuff that feels good. And this is where we do hold some positions. Now, again, if you don't want to hold the static stretch, you can stay in the movement side to side. Otherwise, next time your knees go over towards the left, I want you to hold them there. So both knees point to the left, pause. Now this right here might be a deep enough stretch. If you want to intensify it a little more though, you're going to take your left foot, you're going to put it on top of the right leg, just drawing it a little heavier down towards the mat. And again, any arm position that works for you. We're just going to take a few breaths here. If there's any discomfort in that right knee, I want you to make sure that your left foot isn't right on top of the joint and it's more on the thigh. And when you're ready, we're going to take it over to the other side. So your left foot comes off of the right knee. And now I just want you to windshield wipe your knees over to the right. You can stay like this, or if you want to get a little heavier, you take that right foot on top of your left thigh, letting everything hang heavy and melt down towards the mat. When you're ready, uncross the foot, couple windshield wipers side to side. And then I want you to bring both knees in, and your hands are going to come to the kneecaps, and we're just going to trace some hip circles. Knees move in opposite direction. Doesn't matter what direction that is to start. Once you've done a few this direction, just switch. Same circles other way. Now we're going to come into my favorite. We're going to come into a happy baby stretch. So from here, I want you to bend the knees. Your hands are going to come and grab the sides of your feet and gently push the knees down kind of in towards your armpits. If this does not work for your body, I want you to stay with those hip circles. It can feel good in this position to rock gently side to side a little bit. Stay here as long as feels good, but if you're ready to move on, we are going to finish by stretching out the length of our mat. So I want your legs to reach long, arms to reach long overhead. Get as long and tall and big as you can. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Big inhale here. Exhale, release, melt into the mat. And that is your mobility and core flow. I hope that felt good. Your body is now feeling maybe a little more mobile, a little more energized. Again, if you like this type of video, I have another mobility and core flow available right now on Patreon. All the details are at the link below. Have a great rest of your day.